Welcome to Campus Connect on Morris Educational Television. I'm Ed Yaw, President of County College of Morris. I'm pleased to host today's program sponsored by the Morris Area Consortium for Local Educational Television, a cooperative effort by Morris County schools, colleges, and public libraries to bring you information on key issues in higher education. On today's program, we will cover the world of financial aid in higher education. Let's get started by welcoming our guests in today's discussion. We're joined by two leaders from the Higher Education Student Assistance Authority, also known as HESAA, Executive Director Michael Angulo and Chief Operating Officer Francine Andrea. HESAA is a state authority that provides students and families with the financial and informational resources for students to pursue their education beyond high school. With roots dating back to 1959, HESAA's singular focus has always been to benefit the student it serves. Welcome to the program, Michael and Francine. We also welcome Director of Financial Aid at the County College of Morris, Harvey Willis. Welcome, Harvey. So welcome to you all.
Thank you, Doctor.
And welcome back. We've done this program before, a few years ago, but it seemed to be timely that we provide our viewing audience with the most up-to-date information we can on student financial aid. Before we get into the subject specifically, maybe just take a couple of minutes to introduce yourselves a little bit more about your background in HESAA.
Sure, thank you, Doctor. It's our pleasure to be here, and I'm honored to sit here and talk about financial aid. My background is as an attorney, and I have caught the bug, and I do have the passion now in financial aid, because the one thing that we need in this state for our economy is a strong higher education system. So helping students access and afford higher education is what we do and is absolutely a passion for us. So thank you.
That's great. Francine?
It's a pleasure to be here. The Higher Education Student Assistance Authority serves over 1 million clients each year, and I've been pleased to be present and supporting the needs of the state for the last 15 years. Prior to that, working at institutions and universities in the area of enrollment management and financial aid management. So it's a pleasure.
That's great. And Harvey?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here again, and I primarily come from a background of 4-year, previously the director of graduate school in New York, and I've been with County College of Morris for 10 years, and it's my pleasure and honor to assist these students reduce their out-of-pocket expense, because that's the primary goal as far as our office is concerned.
Good. Yeah. I think maybe to get us started, Harvey, maybe I'd ask you to start out by kind of giving an overview of the financial aid process. What does a student and his or her family need to do to get started and go through the full process?
Well, Doctor, first and foremost, the application process is quite simple. It's an online process, and the students will apply by visiting the federal website, www.fafsa.ed.gov, and they will in turn start the application process there. Once the Federal Processing Center completes the application, completes their processing requirements, they will in turn send that information on to the state, and the state will go through and determine the eligibility for those students. The information in turn is sent to the institution, giving the students list County College of Morris as their college of choice. They can list the college in name or by school code. Our federal school code for students is 007106. They just simply need to complete that. Now, I would caution the families that it's to their advantage in that it makes the application process a lot simpler if they wait till pretty much after the tax filing period to file the financial aid application online, because it does involve them having to include certain financial information as far as income and asset information. But the process, in essence, it's quite simple. Now, what happens once the information is sent to us electronically is we, as the Financial Aid Office, we review the results and we determine eligibility. And that determination includes not just federal, state grants, it also includes student loans. In other words, we will put together a comprehensive packet for the students so that they have a sense as far as what their financial eligibility is, and if any, what arrangements they need to have as a family as far as any possible out-of-pocket expense. Now, keep in mind again that we also try to reduce that out-of-pocket expense for these families. And I just really want to give these families a little heads up in that it's to their advantage to do this, because again, the application process is free and it's to their advantage.
That's great. So I think one of the key components is they can go online to the FAFSA website, which you indicated before, and they put in a code for County College of Morris or any other institution that they might be applying to, and
That's
then
correct.
automatically that information is forwarded to the state and to the institutions to which they're applying, and
That's
then
correct.
the financial aid professionals take over from there.
Yes.
So that's great.
Yes.
Maybe in just a couple of minutes talk about some of the federal programs that our students might be eligible for.
Okay, starting off, the primary program is a federal Pell Grant. Okay, and then there is the supplemental educational grant, which is called SUG, as far as the financial aid professionals refer to it as. And then there's the work study, federal work study program. And it's contingent on employment in that it's based on an allocated amount awarded to the students, and it's contingent on their employment here in many areas in the institution. If they want to be a lab assistant or just simply be an office assistant in any office on campus, they could utilize those funds in terms of employment. Keep in mind, it will allow the students to have some type of stipend that will be helpful to their office supplies, etc. Okay, but primarily the federal Pell Grant is deferrable, meaning it's deducted from their tuition. It's free money, and including the SEOG grant, which is awarded to students with the highest need. And it's also deducted from their tuition. So in essence, there are those two programs, aside from, of course, the direct student loan, where it's a student loan program where students can apply to cover any external expenses or tuition expenses they may incur.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll get back to the federal
Yes.
or to the loan programs a little bit later in the program, but essentially these federal programs are based on the student's need, which is the difference between the resources that they can provide as a family and the expenses at this institution, again, or any other institutions that they might be providing. When we return from our break, we'll talk more about the history of HESAA and the services they provide. Please stay with us.
How am I supposed to find a job without a babysitter?
I just can't afford my
My
prescriptions.
kids and I need a safe place.
Could my child
There
be
must
using
be someone
drugs?
who
They just shut off my
understands. I
gas.
never
Can they
thought
do
of
that?
it.
Get my baby.
I need
I'm
other
just
children.
my kids up to my dad.
Something that's just not right.
Help!
Life is full of problems, but finding help shouldn't be one of them. Call 211. It's free, confidential, and you can call anytime, day or night.
That 211 lady was so nice.
My English is not very good, but with 211, it's not a problem.
211. Get help. Get answers.